Hello, everybody, and welcome to the platform layer breakout today. Today, we have joined three vendors that will tell us their story today. Lee Mapstead, Channel Manager of Firemon, Nick Hansel, Director of Channel Sales Engineer of Ivanti, and our own Adrian Hollier, joining Westcon of Microsoft Azure at Westcon. We have a package agenda today, so let's get into it right away. Please make sure that if you have any questions, please chat us, ask your questions in our comments so we can respond to it, all your questions right away. And we will follow up later directly after the event. Lee, just take it away.
Lee, you are muted. Please unmute your mic and you can start with the presentation again. Thank you.
Okay, sorry guys, I double muted myself there. Can you see my presentation now?
Yes, we can. Thank you. You may
Right,
proceed.
let me go right to the beginning. I'll just speed it up a little bit. Guys, thanks very much. Sorry for that technical glitch. I was double muted. You would have thought after all this time with COVID, I would have got the hang of this by now. Anyway, my name is Lee Mapstead. I am the Firemon EMEA channel manager. And what I'd like to do first of all is just talk about what Firemon can actually offer our customers and your customers as well. So we're well aware that security operations is a hard job. Your customers are constantly under attack in a never-ending game of preventing bad people from doing bad things to their networks. Your customers are also spending a fortune on security technologies, but they're only as good as their last configuration and their deployments. A security breach can be a result of no more than an accidental mouse click, even with the latest tools that they have at hand. Now, our focus on security operations helps make the technologies that your customers have invested so heavily in do what they're supposed to do. Our solution falls into three main categories that are on the screen right now. So security policy management, cloud security operations, cyber security asset management. The first is the security policy management. That includes reducing firewall and cloud security policy risks, managing policy changes, and enforcing compliancy. Next is cloud security operations, which we're going to really focus in on this presentation. And this encompasses detection and response to issues on a fast-paced public cloud environment such as AWS and Azure. Finally, but certainly not least, cybersecurity asset management. This scans the entire network from on-prem networks to the cloud to identify everything and provide really valuable insight into how everything is connected and how it's all joined together. Like I said, I'm going to focus purely on cloud for the majority of this presentation. So Firemon sees the 5 biggest roadblocks to migrating the cloud as cybersecurity, hidden costs, compliance, internal politics, and lack of visibility. The way your customers need to avoid attacks is to make the transition to the cloud as seamless as possible. They also need to have full visibility of their infrastructure before, after, and during the migration. Compliance is also key here. So moving to the cloud can bring a range of practical, administrative, and regulatory challenges. But for compliance, the key issues facing CIOs, network security managers, are what type of data is their organization stores and where that data is kept. Visibility, obviously, hugely important as well. Obviously, if your customers don't have full visibility of everything on their networks, they cannot be sure of the risks or the leaks, or even if they remain in compliance. Internal politics, the longer I've been with firemen, the more I see that this can sometimes be quite a sticky fact. So that's mainly around fear of the unknown, fear of moving into the cloud. There's also some resistance where people are resistant around giving up control of their applications. There's often the presence of what I call IT fiefdoms or silos within the organizations, different people responsible for specific elements of the network. And sometimes there's quite a legacy approach to IT processes and management. That can all really be an issue, but something else we can obviously help with. Our old friends Gartner say that 99% of firewall breaches will be caused by simple firewall misconfigurations, not by flaws. So I've been with Firemon now for about 18 months, and I've been on a lot of meetings with our sales team and just with partners. And it's always interesting to me to be able to map the strategic initiatives of a company for a given year to the technologies that they're going to rely on to achieve their goals. And then, work out whether they're using existing solutions or looking to upgrade their existing solutions, or sometimes even to acquire new solutions to meet these goals. Then I like to see what the resource requirements look like. And then lastly, to see where security is discussed in the equation. Is it a discussion that is by design or something that happens by default? So listen to your customers around this positioning, because they're often asking questions that are buying signals. These three topics here are kind of key to what Firemon can offer. So we reduce risk, we manage risk with real-time visibility and control, manage change, so help your customers avoid misconfigurations, but at the same time, speed up business and improve their security stance as well. And then at the same time, while all this is going on, we help to enforce compliance, avoid violations, avoid risk, and avoid fines. So Firemon set this precedent way back in 2003 when we were first formed as an organization. We kind of built the whole network security policy management, and we continue to adapt to the ever-changing security needs that your customers have. Large organizations all over the world rely on Firemon as a strategic partner to help them make sure that the investment they've made in their security platforms actually do what they need them to do. And our distributed architecture paves the way for automated and unified security policy management on-premise and virtual environments, and also help in the multi-cloud infrastructures as well. So we really help organizations visualize exactly what's going on their network, and it doesn't matter to us if you're all on-prem, hybrid, cloud, a mixture of the whole lot. But what we do is really help with a reduction in the misconfigurations that are made by human beings. So, networks are not getting any less complicated. They're getting only more complicated, less staff, faster moving. Unfortunately, we're all human beings, and so errors and mistakes do happen. This is what I've seen as being the most powerful part of what we do. So by giving your customers a single lens, for the first time, sometimes different groups within the same organization can see exactly what's going on within their network. True visibility in real time. And they can sit down together, collaborate, and then make sensible, knowledgeable decisions in real time and incredibly quickly. We're also in the marketplace, so we're available on AWS Marketplace and Azure Marketplace as well. What I'd like to do of this part of the presentation is to just try and help you spot an opportunity. Sometimes we find the customers are almost asking for FireMon without actually being presented the solution. So here's a whole lot of simple questions. In fact, the most simple question is not even on this slide. So I often ask customers when I first meet them, really simple question is, how many firewalls do you manage at any one time? And of that firewall estate, what are the different vendors in place? And that makes a lot of sense. The more firewalls a customer manages, the more chance they're not doing an adequate job, and they'll know that. The different firewall vendors, be it Fortinet, Palo Alto, Cisco, Checkpoint, whatever it might be, were never designed to work together. So they'll never work together seamlessly. They have different management stations that you need different skills to manage, different hardware, different software, and so on. So just that question alone can really, really open up a potential customer's mind. But saying that, complexity and security. So how does your team ensure that you can see all of the devices on your network? How do you discover and eliminate leak paths in your network as well? I mean, if you can't see all the devices and you don't have visibility, you're not even aware if there even are leak paths. So that's quite a scary fact on its own. Speed and change. How much time does your team spend manually managing firewalls or cloud security group policies? And how does your team avoid the risk of misconfiguration in firewalls or cloud security groups? Compliance, this is key. So compliance is so easy to fall out of. So how do you ensure that your systems stay compliant as you make changes to your environment? And internal and external compliance mandates are constantly evolving, and even the slightest change can trigger a violation. Now, those questions are really easy, and just ask them, are you going through an audit? Have you failed an audit? Are you planning an audit? That sort of thing around compliance is key, and we'll normally always open up a conversation for us to have with you around FireMon. So ignoring the consequences of ignoring the security policies. We come back to Gartner again, and I'll re-emphasize this. Gartner said that 99% of firewall breaches will be caused by misconfiguration and not the firewalls themselves. So managing security policies certainly is not the most glamorous task that your customers do. However, if they don't, the consequences can be quite severe. The worst on this list is a security breach. So enterprise and cloud firewalls are really good at what they do, but only if they are configured correctly. If you create a rule that opens access from anything to everything, the old any rule, which is often set up initially for testing or if a new firewall is installed and sometimes forgotten, that fundamentally leaves that firewall useless and the network wide open to attacks. Outages are a problem too. So firewalls inherently control access, and a misconfiguration can not only let the wrong people in, but it can also deny access to the people that really need to be on the network at that specific time. If you're using processes to manage policies, you will obviously need more staff. That's if you can find the staff in the first place to help you run this. There's been a global shortage of good, skilled technical staff for years now, and the introduction of COVID has only made that a much bigger problem. And finally, if you get compliance wrong, I don't have to tell you, but the fines are huge, and it can have a real effect on the business's bottom line. This presentation kind of wraps up everything that FireMon can offer. So the FireMon solution really needs to live in your customers' complex environments. In this diagram, you can see that we touch nearly every critical component on a usual large network. On the left, we incorporate your on-prem firewalls, routers, and load balancers from top vendors like Palo Alto, Fortinet, Zscaler, Checkpoint, and so on. Below that, we seamlessly manage policies from the newer technologies like SD-WAN and SASE for remote users and branches, including Zscaler, Palo Alto CloudGenix, and Cisco Meraki. On the cloud side of things, we support and manage policies for cloud security groups, cloud firewalls, VPCs, VNets, network ACLs for AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. And then firewall and cloud support is absolutely crucial, but so is integrating into your security operations environment. So our API-first integrations cover all the latest third-party security tools, including IT service management such as ServiceNow, vulnerability scanners from Qualys, Tenable, and Rapid7, SOAR platforms from such as Cortex from Palo Alto, and SIEM platforms such as Splunk. So real results from real customers. This slide is a little bit US heavy, but I think we'll all recognize StubHub and Footlocker. So for example, StubHub automated 70% of their compliance checks and reduced the manpower needed to implement new firewall rules by 90%. Footlocker is conducting audits in half the time it used to take them, and deploying firewalls in 1/10 of the time that it used to take them. So if you take one thing away from this slide, FireMon is there to help your customers save time, save money, add security, and get more security from what they've already invested in, and also to remain in compliance. So if you're still not sure if you have a customer that may be worth talking to, you've got a few more questions, speak to your Westcon rep. They all have my details. And as a thank you for contacting me, or via email, phone, WhatsApp, text, whatever it might be, I've got a raft of small gift vouchers from Amazon, from Virgin, etc., that I'm more than happy to give to people. I love giving a voucher. It certainly helps me do my job. And also, we have this amazing spiff that's been running. Was running last year as well. It's also running this year. That's $1,000 in total. So $500 for a salesperson, $500 for the engineer. As an example, last quarter we had 52 qualified spiff opportunities. So obviously that cost us $52,000. This is real. The only prerequisite is it needs to be around about a deal size of $50,000, but our average deal size is $125,000. And this is a win or lose. So as long as we have a reasonable, good conversation with one of your customers, even if they're not a perfect fit for us right now, we are still prepared to pay that spiff out. And that's me. So like I say, any questions, please contact your Westcon rep.
Thank you very much, Lee. And again, if there are any questions, please put them in the chat and we would love to answer them. Let me now hand you over in the great hands of Nick Hansel of Avanti and listen to his story. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, and good morning or good afternoon to everyone, wherever you're connecting from today. And it's quite appropriate actually, because what I'm going to do is take you through a presentation around how at Avanti we secure the everywhere workplace. Now, our overall mission at Avanti is to make the everywhere workplace possible for everyone. And so, like I said, today we're focused more on the secure side. And let's kick it off really by just describing or giving a definition around what the everywhere workplace is. So this isn't new to everyone. We've all seen, and we've seen it actually in some of the talks this morning. Certainly it was mentioned in the IDC presentation that there's an acceleration happening. Now, we all know that the COVID pandemic contributed to this acceleration moving faster, but the world was changing anyway. You know, different generations, different expectations on how the workplace should be. And it's fair to say that the last sort of 18, 24 months has been very difficult for companies and employees as we were kind of forced to make that abrupt shift to work from home. So people are working from more different places than ever before. And what does this mean for IT? For IT, you know, this has proved a very challenging place now. With the world changing, as you can see on the slide, we've got more devices, more platforms, more applications, more networks, and more services that we have to deal with. And, you know, with this world changing and having more devices and more applications, these don't live on a single platform anymore. You know, applications can be on premises, they can also be in the cloud. And the expectation is that they're accessible from anywhere, anytime, and from any device as well. So the everywhere workplace is here. It's here already, and it has been for a while. There's also expectations from today's employees that they can be productive from anywhere that they work. So again, this is could be working from the kitchen table, from your sofa, going to a coffee shop and utilizing Wi-Fi or hotspot mobile technology. And all of this, as I mentioned, should be, or the expectation is that we can access it anytime using a variety of devices. And these aren't just, you know, your typical desktop and laptop PCs. This has moved to tablets, smartphones, and they want all of their devices to be able to connect and access our corporate networks. We're also going to see things even now or in the future like wearable devices and other edge devices and whatever comes next. And the expectation will still be the same. So with this landscape becoming more diverse, not everything is in one data center anymore. We need to be conscious that the number of malware attacks is ever increasing. Ransomware, we've seen a significant increase in. And all of these are demanding more and more money when they hit. So with further digitalization, digital transformation within organizations, the new ways of working has helped to increase that attack surface. So all of this requires us to kind of take a new look, a new approach to security. And if we look at a traditional security model, this is being challenged. So we have this example here, and this traditional security model, some of you may have heard this before, is called the castle or the coconut model. And this is being challenged, and it's struggling to handle this new world of the everywhere workplace. And, you know, by definition, cloud environments are typically outside the on-premises network of an organization. And with this model, this castle model, it has structural design weaknesses, and it really can't be used anymore against things like modern malware or ransomware attacks, as it doesn't stop attacks from within the inside. With more and more, you know, devices, as we mentioned, requiring that connection to the corporate network outside the network and connections between different networks, this kind of traditional castle security model gets challenging to manage over time. And also, it's fair to say that with things like different connections taking place, it's more challenging to see what is happening and what traffic is essentially flowing over the roads. Then there's also things to consider, like the move to not managing all your hardware yourself anymore. As we discussed, users are getting more flexible or expecting more flexibility to use these different devices at different times to gain access to the data at all times. And as a result, data is no longer just stored on premise. It's been in the cloud for a while now, so that we can facilitate this every device, every time access of the data at any moment. Now, this also makes it not really economically profitable for companies to manage these hardware devices by themselves. And where we see a challenge also with this security model is if an attacker actually breaches this gate or this wall. They can easily then get into the perimeter, and most of the time they can pretty much move freely around between systems. In practice, they have access to a big part of the network and information. And then we also need to take into account this risk of the insider. So this could be where employees, knowingly or unknowingly or unwittingly, let's say, could cause a data breach. For example, they could give attackers access to your network. So one way we're looking to address this challenge at Avanti is with our zero trust approach. So this is very much, those of you who know zero trust, know that this is very much a perimeter kind of less world. It's a strategy, a model that never makes assumptions, is always looking to verify. So this is one of the ways that we look to help secure your platform layer and more. Some of the key attributes you always need to take into account, and I know some of the breakout sessions are focused actually around these areas, are users, access itself, devices, applications, monitoring and auditing, and actions based on what is being observed. Connections, exist between those key attributes, and with this zero trust approach, we're going to continuously verify those. An action then will be taken if one of the components are compromised, and this may be we allow access or close access to that particular resource. And then looking at all these key attributes, you need a platform on which you can easily define and deploy policies, whilst also getting that ongoing visibility and analytics on the changing state of your environment. And some of the key kind of architecture principles of this zero trust model are, as it says on the slide, never trust. Always assume that there's bad actors on your network, and we want to identify the data to protect your IT infrastructure and ensure that there's only secure paths to this data. So we're only going to give access to data using these secure paths. We're also going to maintain that strict access control to the data on a need-to-know basis, perhaps. And as I mentioned, with this approach, we're always looking to verify. So to facilitate that, we're going to set conditions and determine access rights based on a degree of trust, which will be derived from those various properties of the access request. And these could be things like your location, your device, your IP address, your account that you're trying to access from, etc. And then let's say if one of these pillars is compromised and not compliant, with Avanti solutions, we can auto heal. So we can remediate the threats and restore access itself. Lastly, really, with the zero trust approach, we want to continuously check, adapt, and enforce. And then we also have comprehensive monitoring and logging to complement this. So that's kind of how we're looking to approach this challenge with our zero trust solutions. Just before we start to go deeper into our secure pillar, I just wanted to pull it back to the overall everywhere workplace situation And I mentioned about how Avanti's mission is to help organizations, partners, customers with that challenge. And so we also have complementary solutions that fall into these 4 pillars. So if you think about it very much from a high level, with Avanti to help you with the everywhere workplace, we can help discover devices on your network. So what do you have? Once we've discovered those devices, it's a case of how are we going to manage them? How are we going to manage these devices? How are we going to manage the user access to services? And of course, once we've sorted that out, it's all a case of how do we secure these users? How do we secure this enterprise data and this privacy? And we'll go into this a little bit more detail as we move forward. And then lastly, from a service perspective, if there's any issues that arise, how are we going to deal with those? We're going to leverage some of our service management solutions and use some of those service management disciplines to do that. Now, all of this is supported by our hyper automation platform called Avanti Neurons. And this spans across all the pillars and provides us additional functionality, things like the ability to self-secure, to self-heal and self-service, etc. So this is a real kind of USP of Avanti across those 4 pillars. So it just gives you a kind of bird's eye view of how we're looking to help with the everywhere workplace. We're just going to delve back now into the secure pillar a little bit more, and just going to highlight some of those outcomes that you can expect with leveraging Avanti solutions. So with all of these, we're looking to reduce that attack surface, and we're looking obviously to reduce costs and prevent names in the papers, to protect that reputation and to ensure that the IT efficiency is improved. You can see here on the slide with the IT outcomes, moving to a better architecture and framework, less password resets, a consistent patching approach, and then protection at that user device and access level layer. From a business outcome perspective, all of those IT outcomes lend themselves to these business outcomes very well as well, where we're improving that overall security posture, we're reducing costs, as I mentioned, and looking to increase productivity. And this moves quite nicely into our next slide, which gives you some examples around kind of key concepts and value that Avanti can deliver in those different areas. So from a user perspective, with removing the need for passwords, this makes it kind of harder for attackers to gain access to the environment. They're going to have to perform more risky actions. We eliminate one of the weakest link in user passwords, and we simplify the user experience. And of course, we reduce operational costs by taking away that manual work to do those password resets, which is quite often a number one kind of request in organizations on the service desks. From a device perspective, we're looking to close those exploited endpoints using vulnerability lifecycle management. You can see there the value that we deliver with risk-based prioritization and reduced attack surface, providing that effective cyber hygiene as well. And then from an access zero trust perspective, we're enabling that visibility and enforcing it in access requests across the environment. And this provides early detection of bad behavior, so we can identify those attacks much quicker. And the value that we get from these, as you can see, simplified application access, designed for zero trust, and centralized management for access from on-prem to the cloud. So we talked earlier about zero trust and Avanti's approach. And we've now heard some kind of examples there of business outcomes and key concepts and value that we can provide. So I'm just going to walk you through, just taking some time looking at some of the key attributes that we take into account from a zero trust perspective. And as I said, this is that secure the user, secure the device, and secure access. So from a user perspective, how can we help with securing devices? We talked about eliminating passwords, adopting a passwordless, if we can say it, a passwordless approach, using things like multi-factor authentication to allow secure access to applications and desktops. And major benefit of this, users don't have to remember or create passwords or even write them down like a lot of users do these days. Checks will also be done using the multi-factor approach, using their mobile phones, using biometric approvals, and then only approved users and approved devices can gain access to that data. And then we can also help with protection against things like phishing attacks on mobile phones, blocking unwanted SMSs, and also looking at blocking those open phishing links, preventing people from opening phishing links on their smart devices like mobile phones, as an example. When it comes to the privilege and entitlements management, examples here that we have is the ability to remove admin rights from users. We can also make changes of access to applications and services on your platforms and those rights within those applications. All of this can be managed, whether it's a new joiner process, whether it's a leaver process, or whether it's someone actually moving or changing roles within the organization based on things like identity attributes. So all of this would be logged, tracked, and automated. And in a lot of cases, in this particular end example of joiners, movers, and leavers, this could all be tracked and monitored using the complementary service management solutions, which in this case is Neurons for ITSM. Moving on to how we secure devices. As I mentioned earlier, we discover devices on your network and we check quickly if they're already managed and registered in something like your asset manager or your CMDB. With this, we can also help provide that end-to-end lifecycle management for all devices in the company, things like BYOD, shared devices, company-owned devices, all using this modern management approach. And then we also have additional solutions like device control. This will allow us to quickly identify and lock down endpoints to prevent unauthorized use of things like removable devices and ports. And we can also prevent unknown applications from being installed or executed. And all of this obviously helps to reduce your attack surface exponentially. Lastly, we're just going to concentrate on how we secure our access. And really, regardless of who is connecting and where they're connecting from to which application, it has to be secure. Now, we offer a single platform with a single client, so there is consistency with our entire user experience, regardless of the type of access a user may need. By doing things like checking a device before we grant access, we can give those insights and perform checks using our solutions or other third-party vendors to ensure that the correct person, the correct device can have access to that desired resource. But I think it's fair to say that secure access could also mean different things. It could also mean have access to a private app in the data center, private app in the cloud, maybe a SaaS application as an example. Or it could actually be all of those. It could actually be all of those scenarios. Now, using Avanti's secure access solutions, we've got you covered from all of those different aspects. Now, I'm just going to give you a look here at some of the solutions, or pretty much most of the solutions in our security portfolio. You can see obviously that we've attached them to this approach: users, access, device, applications, and then the monitoring, the observation and actions to take from these. Not going to go through all of these just because of time. We obviously spoke around zero trust. To clarify, using the web to create a kind of secure connection from a device to an application, and also eliminating bandwidth and data charges through gateways. We're constantly doing that verification that we talked about, verifying the user, verifying their device and applications based on those preset constraints. Now, from a device perspective, and talking to some of our cloud capabilities, with Avanti Neurons for patch management. This is our risk-based cloud patch management solution. And this allows you to prioritize and patch vulnerabilities based on things like active risk exposure, patch reliability, and device compliance with all of Avanti's cloud native patch management solution. Lastly, the other one that I would call out really from the observations and actions section is an acquisition that we made last year of a company called RiskSense. And what RiskSense brings to our portfolio is the ability to provide that vulnerability management and prioritization to measure and essentially control your cybersecurity risk. So knowing what actions to take in seconds allows you to kind of accelerate that remediation and activities for the most important part across those vulnerability exposure points. So this will allow us, to address that attack surface across infrastructure, applications, and development frameworks. Now, lastly, just to finish up, just another slide really on our portfolio, but I just wanted to reiterate, the Avanti security solutions are tightly integrated with the rest of the Avanti portfolio to enable IT departments to support the everywhere workplace. We saw it across those 4 pillars. And we can see an example on this slide, how these security solutions are tightly integrated with the rest of the Avanti portfolio in unified endpoint management. And as we touched upon as well, should issues arise, then we tightly integrate with our service management solutions as well. So that's pretty much it for me today. Just wanted to give you that kind of high-level introduction on how we can help, and certainly with securing the everywhere workplace. And yes, just like to say thank you for your attendance and attention. And if there's any questions, please let us know.
Thank you very much, Nick. And again, for everybody, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we will definitely follow up. I will now give the word to our own Adrian, who will give you his tour around the next topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerome. So, afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and I hope that what you take away from my presentation is why you should be buying from Westcon. And believe it or not, Microsoft is actually a real, true security player. But we are not ogres, and we also play nicely with other people. So without any further ado, let's have a look. So it's no secret that we're currently living in an age of technology and flux, and that translates to change, and everything is changing, even within the security landscape. And that means that we're facing adaptable attackers that literally transverse all silos, all perimeters, meaning that a point approach to security is useless. Security tools are increasingly disparate and, for the most part, are not well integrated, resulting in patchwork security. All of this adds up to an overwhelming noise, making it especially difficult for us to actually pinpoint where these complex threats are coming from. So what I'm going to show you is not a lot of information, but really just a high-level overview of what it is that Microsoft Azure can offer you. So, what do we see from this? Azure is uniquely equipped to help you both with the challenge, because Azure is the only cloud platform built by a security vendor. Let me say that again. Azure is the only cloud platform built by a security vendor. So Microsoft is focused on empowering our customers with world-class cloud platforms and security capabilities. Azure or Microsoft operate a $10 billion multi-cloud, multi-platform security business. They protect more than 400,000 customers and 90% and 90 of the Fortune 100 compliance and identity solutions. They employ almost 4,000 security experts. In 2020, 6 billion malware threats were blocked by Microsoft Office Defender, and they took over 8 trillion signals every 24 hours. And so with Azure, not only are you getting the security expertise and intelligence, but you're also getting that from a true security vendor. So what is Azure security? Our security approach in Azure is that we give you both built-in, modern, and holistic security. Azure security compliance capabilities are seamlessly built into the Azure platform across all your cloud resources, all of your layers of your architecture. It's easy to turn on, manage centrally, and even through stages of development lifecycle, native controls for DevOps and SecOps processes to scale security experiences from security operations team. It also offers you a broad support of actionable best practices. Plus, Azure offers these security capabilities that are truly best in class. You're getting a modern security powered by AI with the scale of the cloud. Our solutions utilize AI trained on trillions of signals collected across Microsoft's entire security portfolio. Built-in automation allows you to streamline common tasks so that security professionals can focus on their most important tasks. And moving security to the cloud, you get the flexibility and the scalability to quickly optimize your costs and lowering your total cost of ownership. And most of all, as I said before, Azure security is holistic. It isn't just about protecting Azure. It's about protecting the entire organization. It works with what you have, even across multiple platforms, multiple vendors, and gives you centrally managed, unified controls and visibility. It secures your hybrid resources. Plus, you get the benefit of threat protection through deep integration with Microsoft's broader security portfolio, like Microsoft 365 Defender, to seamlessly secure your entire organization. But here's where the rubber meets the road. Microsoft offers a great set of built-in controls, but they also enter into partners and have a unique partner ecosystem, as Lee mentioned from Firemon, called the Azure Marketplace. And so while it's true that many of us use more than one product that is highlighted here, these products that you see here are not the only ones on the marketplace, but there are many more. And so here's a tip. When you're searching for a security solution on Azure, do not go by just these categories, for there are many, many security, identity, and networking security products that are not listed under the security category. So look broadly for your solution. And if you don't immediately find what you're looking for, reach out to us as Westcon and we can help. So that hopefully gives you an understanding and a high level overview of what we can offer from Microsoft Azure and security point of view. Now, so why Westcon? Well, Westcon has the ability to offer Blue Sky, which is our digital ordering platform. So you're no longer dependent upon a salesperson to place an order. You can do it yourself. We can automate the approvals for specified resellers. There's lots of self-service features that you can have, advanced email notifications, and even some insights into your business. But further to that, we also have some unique solution offerings within our Microsoft portfolio. And one of them is something that we have just recently started and launched, and it's called Westcon Comstore Cloud Place. Sure, that was a bit of a tongue twister. But what are we looking to achieve through this? It's a partner program that is really designed to fast track the delivery of multiple vendor cloud solutions directly from the marketplace. And so there are two models really for Cloud Place. One, you're either a reseller that has built a unique and bespoke solution that you would like to get onto the Azure marketplace, or alternatively, you're a reseller who's looking to sell a multi-vendor solution in the cloud. And so by joining this program, what do you achieve? Well, we help you to reduce your overheads as Westcon, because we take away all of the pain and the hassle of you having to manage the Azure admin of getting the solution on the marketplace. You're able to focus on your strengths and deliver cloud solutions without drowning in the setup process and platform requirements. You're 100% involved in your client's cloud buying cycle and even have access to great volume discounts. You're able to sell multiple Azure solutions without the need to become a specialized vendor. So what do we mean by that? It means that through the Azure marketplace, you can go and spin up something, like Lee said, from the marketplace, a Firemon solution, without necessarily being a Firemon partner. And Westcon, through our support services, will help you to set it up and ensure that it is running smoothly and the way it should be. And second, and then last but not least, all right, is to accelerate your journey from quote to solution delivery, and hopefully meeting and exceeding your customers' demand. Secondly, for our partners, marketing as a service. Westcon has a broad wealth of marketing experience and marketing experts that are dedicated to helping you develop and grow your channel with bespoke and tailor-made demand generation campaigns. And so some of these offerings that we extend to our partners are things like skills, training, consultancy services, support to further diversify your market, to further diversify your marketing skills. Digital expertise in marketing capabilities to generate and nurture cost-effective leads, and funding support. So advice on securing, investing, and maximizing your funds for joint marketing campaigns. And then, of course, what I believe is probably one of Westcon's best kept secrets is our Azure cost management platform. Well, through our complete cost management platform, we can eliminate some of the budget overruns that the news is so full of all the time by 30 to 50%. We're able to govern complex environments, achieve multiple cloud visibility. And how do we do this? Cloud Checker offers probably some of the industry's deepest reporting and recommendation engines for better insight. It's fast, it's flexible, and I promise it's easy to use. Even I can use it, so I can say that hand on heart. So what does it do? It allows you to create unique dashboards around data visualization for executives, for administrators, users, to understand performance and trends within your multi-cloud environment. The cost management and expense components make the most of your cloud spend with customizable daily or monthly budget alerts, historical and monthly budget projections, which enables you to plan predictively for your Azure spend. Right size your virtual machines, your app services, SQL databases. Oh, did I skip a slide? Sorry, that's the one I was on. It also offers inventory utilization. So Cloud Checker provides a unified view of all of your current and trending historical inventory for a rich set of Azure services, giving you the visibility that you need to be able to make decisions. Through change monitoring, it allows you to have a historical view of your Azure environment with daily snapshots and email updates listing changes within your environment to enable you for more efficient planning. And then last but not least, what we are here for today, security monitoring. So Cloud Checker scans your infrastructure, scans it against best practices around secure configuration, and allows you to monitor, alert, and search for activities on your Azure control plane across all of your resources. But we also, as the Microsoft team, offer level 1 and level 2 support to all of our partners as standard. So what does that mean for you as a customer? Well, hopefully it means that you know that Westcon has the ability to be able to log tickets on your behalf, escalate them where needed, assist in architectural design, and all sorts of other crazy things that support people get up to. But we do have the ability to support you in your cloud journey. We also have additional support services, and those are level 3, and these are typically billable services. So advanced technical support, the ability to do software asset management, project manage implementation, cloud optimization reports, architectural designs, one-on-one remote consultations together with the vendor and you, your partner. And then we also have annual support, advanced support from Microsoft. And what this does is it effectively allows you to increase and minimize your, what's the word I'm looking for? Your time to resolution. So it reduces your time to resolution through improved SLAs. And through the advanced support, we are able to manage to bypass and skip the level 2 and level 3, level 1 and level 2 support and escalate and get things quicker. So with that being said, that's all I have to say. So any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I know it was short, sharp, and to the point, and I apologize for my nervousness, but we are here and we are waiting for your phone call. Any questions? Well, in that case, thank you very much, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. I was trying to share a screen, but unfortunately, I couldn't do it. So I will do it differently. Thank you very much to all our presenters. It was very interesting and very insightful. I would like everybody to make use of our virtual booths to have a deeper dig in, and you can ask for your follow-up on every question you have asked during our vendor presentations. Please be aware of our virtual treasure hunt that will give you a chance to win the latest gen smartphone. I think it would be a good challenge to get for that and win it. And if you want to have a deep dive into our presented solutions, please check out our imagined realistic agenda with different sessions in the next following weeks. The agenda will now continue back into the auditorium with all the regional partner awards. And I would like to thank you all for your attendance, and we will see you back in our auditorium. Thanks very much, everybody, for being here today.